In this video, I'll show you around the Mist client of Icenium. First thing we're going to do is log in at icenium.com and then just come down here to Icenium Mist and agree to the terms and go ahead and open up Mist in the browser. Notice I'm using Chrome as my browser, and that's going to become important when we take a look at the simulator. And here I'm going to open a new project. We've got three different styles, one with just a blank that'll only contain the requirements for Cordova, one with Cordova and jQuery, and one with all of the above plus the Kendo UI, which becomes the interesting style for skinning our projects automatically. So let me go ahead and create the typical Hello World type of application. And from here you can see all the different parts of Icenium Mist that got loaded up for us. Here we have the Hello World project with the Cordova assets needed. We've got the project properties, the Kendo assets. Kendo also includes the jQuery script file as needed. And then finally we have our main page, the index page. Also, if you take a look in scripts and styles, you'll see this is where we can add our own logic and our own skinning and theming. This project is pretty straightforward. I'm just going to go ahead and run it. And we have a couple of different options of where to run this. We can say on device, and that's going to give us the ability to go ahead and target a platform and then run that on our target devices. So I'm going to go ahead and select Android, and that's going to build in the background. And once it's done building, what we're going to get is the QR code that is going to enable us to run this application inside of Ion, or on an iOS device in Ion, or in Android. It'll pull down the bits and install it as long as you've enabled developer or unknown publishers to be installed on your device. That's not really interesting because I can't show you on a physical device. So let's go ahead and run this thing within a simulator. I'm going to do this within the iPhone simulator. You notice a new pop-up window comes up, and this simulator shows us the welcome screen, and we have some navigation down here. Notice the navigation's down at the bottom, which is where a normal iOS interface would expect it. And I can transition to the next screen, which just has a little input box, and I can go, enter my name, submit it, and it's going to make a little change here, and we'll take a look at the code that does that. And then finally we get the geolocation information showing up as well. Now we can modify that because we can actually pull up the geolocation tag, and let's go ahead and let's go down to Maple Hills here. And so now I've adjusted where the simulator will think it is. So if I refresh my location, you can see I got transported. I can even go ahead and change my angle. Now this application does not show angle, but if for some reason I had it spinning the map according to the direction I was looking or something along those lines, that could get reflected. I've got a lot of capabilities here for manual input as well as for showing different speed and so on. I can also go ahead and rotate any of this interface that I want, and ultimately I can also close this and run this. Now let's do it on an Android, and you can see here we are in an Android. This time we've got a skin that's much more normal for an Android look. Notice the navigation's automatically on the top. This is what Kendo UI is doing for us without any code changes. Based on the platform, Kendo will wind up making the application look platform specific. Let's take a look at the code real quick. So here in our index.html, It's a pretty straightforward HTML file. The interesting thing that happens here is we have our default div tag. I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong one. Here's our default div tag right here, which comes up in the beginning. You notice we have a data role here of a view, and here's another one. And if you didn't notice, this was the text box that I entered in my name with a button, and then we've got so the buttons that do the reset and setting of that, and then down here is where we do the geolocation. Now all this magic is taking place right here in our JavaScript file. So in the HTML5 file, we reference this JavaScript file. So we add the normal Cordova event listener for the on-device ready event. And here on device, we go ahead and get the geolocation. And here we're calling a Cordova API to get the current location and passing in two functions. One function is going to get the error if there's any errors with the API, and one will get called upon successful retrieval of the current position. Then we also have some functions down here that very easily just grab some document elements and put in whatever that input value was that I put in. So I put in my name, and then that shows up, and we just set the inner HTML, and we do the display of the text box versus the label and so on, and here's the reset code, and then down here is the code to do that geolocation. So it's all really straightforward. This is just a very normal Cordova application. It gets built for us because we're using the Kendo UI. We get the nice skinning and theming. This is really the simplicity of the Mist interface. It's lightweight. It works really well on Macs as well as PCs. The nice thing is you now can very quickly just open up projects from any machine and make small tweaks and get them distributed and run very quickly. So like I said, once again, do it on your device, let your end users scan it. You can wind up saving this QR code and emailing it to people and having them install it very easily. Makes for a really nice, interesting experience that with just the rich PC-based client alone really is not quite possible. So with this HTML client as an IDE, we really have expanded the capabilities of development on a lot of different platforms and a lot of different scenarios. We hope you enjoy it, and we'd really like your feedback. Thank you.